What is up, guys? Got another quick video today. It's not like something major, but what I'm doing today is I'm going to be changing out the cap and rotor and the spark plug wires and the spark plugs on the engine. So let me show y'all what I got for the car. Now for the Hondas, this is going to be the best you could get. NGK wires, and then the best spark plugs you could get for your Honda is going to be the NGK Iridium spark plugs. There's the part number if you guys care. And going with OEM rotor and OEM cap. They are made by YEC, I think, and that's how you say it. And then here's the part number for the cap. And here's the part number for the rotor. Now, there's no need to try to buy like the MSD ignition ones and stuff. They are not known to be good on the Hondas and not known for lasting on these cars. Don't even try to throw in thinking you're going to get better performance or whatever by throwing better money, or I mean not better money, but more money at the car on stuff like this. To be honest, this is going to be the best you could do for the ignition. And so I'm going to go ahead and get started and take everything off. Now, some of you guys that have been following this channel might notice that the paint is all flaked off on the valve cover now. Actually, it's starting to come off right here. But that's because my radiator hose, I was driving back from Coffee and Cars, and the radiator hose blew, and coolant, like hot coolant, got on the valve cover, and it started taking all the paint off. I guess because it's hot, whatever. As you see, it's just flaking off. So that's something I'll take care of later. See, it's just coming off real easy. I didn't even know coolant would do that, but apparently it does. But anyways, what you guys could do also is with the new cap, with the new cap and the new spark plug wires, just go ahead and set them up on the cap. So so once you take this off, it doesn't matter how you take off the wires, basically everything will be set already, so you don't have any wires in the wrong place. You already have it visually right here, and just do it separately on the new cap and the new wires. And that's what I'm gonna go ahead and do. But after that, I'm gonna just go ahead and take everything off and start putting the new things on. Alright, so here's the new cap. Clean contacts. And here's the wires, and they're also labeled like 1, 2, 3, 4. And also you have the wire for the coil. But when you're putting this together, I know, like, let's say you go to AutoZone, whatever, they're going to try to sell you some electrical grease, and I think they'd be charging like $1 for like those little packets, hardly have any grease. But you guys could just go ahead and buy this dielectric tune-up grease. Use this on all your like electrical connections, your plugs and stuff, to keep them from water getting in there or any type of corrosion going on. So when I put these on, I'm just going to put a little bit on there, and just so everything is nice and clean. So instead of just putting them dry and they get like a little corrosion on them, and then you have troubles maybe starting your car or a weaker spark, so you don't have any of that. And as you guys can see here, to get this rotor off, It's actually positioned just right, and just gotta get a screwdriver, get that screw out. Sometimes they're real tight on there, so it takes a little bit of force to get them out, but I mean, it's not impossible to get out. So I'm gonna go ahead and take that out. I never took this out before, so I'm gonna see how hard it is, if at all. So it's actually on there pretty tight. So what I'm gonna need is this. You turn it one way, you hit it with the hammer. As it's pushed in, it twists out, and so hopefully it'll break it free. This rotor probably never been changed before in its life, so that's why they're on there so tight. But a lot of times, if they're not on there that tight, if they have been changed out, a lot of people, they just hand tighten it, and the screw gets loose and it just gets thrown somewhere, and yeah, it's just on there without a screw. So good thing I'm changing this out, because that tells me that probably none of this has ever been changed out before. Also, if the screw isn't pointing this way, you just turn the engine slowly until it's in the right direction, and so you could get access to it. But see, I'm gonna turn it this way, turn it clockwise, so when I hit it, it turns counterclockwise. So I'm gonna go ahead and try that out. Alright, so it took me about 4 hits hitting it with the hammer to finally get this screw off. Like I said, it probably never been changed out before. As you have everything off, you get this plastic piece off also. This I guess it's like a dust shield, whatever. You look for leaks inside your distributor, and there is no leaks in this one, but sometimes they do leak from the oil on the engine coming in through, and then they'll leak inside of here. It can mess up your electronics, and so you'll probably have to buy a new distributor. And you could rebuild them, but I tried rebuilding it one time on a different car, and it was just horrible. I just went ahead and bought a new one. When you put the new cap on it, just put a little bit of grease on here, because I have seen them rust up, and then the cap is rusted onto this shaft, and I had to hit it with a hammer. That was actually on my 4th gen Prelude. And so, like I said, just put that back together. And what you can do, put a little bit of blue Loctite on this screw so it does not fall out, because some people replace them, they just put it in there with a screwdriver, and you gotta think about it. It's spinning real fast, a bunch of vibrations and everything. Eventually that screw is going to get loose and just fall out inside of your distributor cap. Alright, so here's the old distributor cap, and how it works. You got this plug is plugged up to the coil. The coil is plugged up to the center of the cap onto this point, and then which touches your rotor, and so it transfers the electricity from the center to the tip. As you can see, that contact point is pretty like burnt up, used up. So it spins around. It touches each one as it's spinning. It's spinning pretty fast. So it tells what cylinder to fire and when to fire. And you can see the contact points on the inside. A little used up, not too bad on this cap, but I mean, like I said, I don't know if it's ever been changed out in its lifetime, but I'm finally changing out. It's not a bad idea. It's not really that expensive. I think I paid about 20 bucks for the new one. The wires are a little pricey. I can't remember the exact, but I know it was close around the $50 range. But when you really think about it, it isn't that much. And then the cap is probably about, the rotor is about like 10 bucks. Take a look at the new one. You could go ahead and trash that. Here's the new rotor. Looking good, as it should. New cap. new spark plug wires. And like I said, this is the best setup you could have on your Honda. You could do your research, everything. No need to buy other brands. You know, no need for this aftermarket stuff. Not gonna get you any more power. You're just wasting your money. This is going to last you a long time. But anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and grease the shaft up, put the cover back on, put the rotor on, put a little bit of blue Loctite on the screw, put it back together, put the cap on, and then after that I'm gonna go ahead and take out the old spark plugs. Also, I should mention there is a seal that goes around the distributor cap on the base right here. It is on there right now. If you guys want to, you could go ahead and change it out. The seal on this one does look good. It's only a few bucks, so I mean, it's if anything, you can always change it out later. It's not like it's hard to get to, but if you want to go ahead and change it out, you could go ahead and buy that also. I almost forgot to throw a little bit dielectric grease on the center contact point. Alright, so I got that installed. Next thing I'm going to go ahead and do is go ahead and take out the old spark plugs. I was actually getting the spark plugs out, and I noticed that it wasn't recording. So I'm getting the last one out. What I use is like a hose that fits on top of the spark plugs. And there it is. And I just like to clean inside just to make sure you get any dirt or whatever out. Because sometimes when I'll be working on the car, a little oil would drop inside and I never clean it up. All the spark plugs look pretty normal except for the number 1 spark plug. I don't know if you can see it, but it has a bunch of carbon built up on it. So what I'm also going to go ahead and do is do a compression test on this motor and see how healthy it is. I know I should have done it a while back, but I don't know, for some reason I just never did it. Now real quick, how to do a compression test. Gonna go ahead and put this in. I already took out the fuse for the fuel pump. And then I'm gonna just turn the engine a couple of times, probably like 6 times. You could actually, you're supposed to go until the needle on the compression tester stops moving. So about 6 times. And while I'm turning it, I'm gonna have wide open throttle. So hopefully you guys can see that there. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it. So that looks like about what do we say, 210, about 225. And also what you're looking for is consistency of these numbers. They're supposed to be about 10% within. So if it's at 200, and so it could drop down to about 180 to 200. Let's say if it was between there, that would be good. So the first one we saw 225. Let's see on cylinder number 3. So that one is looking about 220, about 220ish, I would say. Not bad. Alright, cylinder number 2. That one's right above 210. And here is cylinder number 1. And that one is about, I would would say 197-ish. So going from about 225, the last one is the worst one, which it's not horrible, but it is below what it should be. You know, not that much, but like I said, they should be within 10% range of each other. You're looking for consistency. So, I mean, I did buy this car knowing it had a lot of miles on it. It's close to 200,000 miles. And, I mean, it's not horrible. Like I said, you can still use it for everyday use. To be honest, most high mileage cars are gonna be about the same or worse that you see on the street. Now, it does burn some oil, so I am suspecting it is the piston rings. But like I said, I was pretty much expecting this. Now, I knew pretty much this would happen buying this car, but I do have plans for this car, and so I kind of knew, like I said, that this would happen. And I knew this motor probably wouldn't be the healthiest motor, but it runs, it doesn't burn any oil. Well, visibly it does burn some oil, like I said, not a lot, but it does burn some. My other 4th gen, I believe when I was dailing it, it didn't burn any oil with the H22. It does have a JDM H22 unknown mileage. If you guys want to see the transformation of this car, of what I would do next, then go ahead and subscribe to this channel, because for sure on all my cars, on the Del Sol, on my 4th gen Prelude, on this 5th gen Prelude, work is going to come. Now, I know people have been asking, where has the other Prelude been, where has the Del Sol been, and all this takes money. So I mean, I can't make it happen overnight, but it will happen. And the reason why I'm working so much on this car is because it is my daily, you know, and I'm just making it a real reliable daily, and going through all the little things that pretty much never have been changed in its lifetime. But alright, so that's it for that. I'm going to go ahead and put the spark plugs in, put some NICs on them, and then put everything back together. I'm just going to go ahead and start it up. Alright guys, that's going to be it for this video, and hopefully you guys found this kind of helpful in any way or another, you know, a little tip here or there, and or you just enjoy this video just watching it, but hopefully you did. But anyways, go ahead and subscribe if you're not subscribed, and like this video, and I'm going to have another video coming out soon, some more work coming. And as always guys, I'll see you guys on the next one.